Man, in NASCAR, anything can happen, and it is not over until it's over. Literally, it's not over until you cross the start finish line. Wow. Yo, what's up, everyone? My name is Jet. Welcome back to episode of MDK Racing Victory Stop. What a race that was. I gotta say, that was the best gateway race so far for the Cup Series here in this 3-year run. Wow. It's interesting how this race started off. It started off, let's be honest, the first half started off very boring, but that final stage kicked it into high gear with the strategy, great racing, and one fantastic finish. Early on, we knew right away that Christopher Bell had the fastest car. Michael McDowell won the pole at the first 41 some odd laps. Christopher Bell took over the race lead with around 4 laps to go and won stage 2 and dominated for the rest of the race, at least for the majority part of the race, as he would also win stage 2. And it seemed as though that the race was setting up to be Christopher Bell versus all of Team Penske, that being Blaney, Cindric, and Logano. It seemed as though that those 3 drivers at Penske was the only team, the only drivers that could be able to bring the fight to Christopher Bell. Not even Bell's teammates like Hamlin, Truex, or Gibbs. Truex had issues early or around stage number 2 where he had a tire go down and it went multiple laps down, couldn't recover. Gibbs and Hamlin had a top 5 car. Gibbs didn't really have the car in the top 10, it seemed. But Bell seemed as though to be the only driver that had the best car by a mile, but Penske was hanging in tough. So let's start in stage 3, because that's when everything, got good. So on lap 112, the top 12 stayed out. That includes Blaney, Logano, and Cindric. Christopher Bell, who pitted, took 2 tires, started in 13th. Again, he had the fastest car. The top 3 at Penske were running 1, 2, 3, and it remained like that until that final round of green flag pit stops with around 66 laps to go. Blaney caught the 2 car by surprise. He was able to then come on the pit road and leapfrog the 2 car. So Blaney got out to a big lead over the 2 car of Cindric. However, Bell, because he pitted later, would stay out a lot longer. Then he would come onto pit road and it would come out 7 or 8 seconds behind Blaney, which would have been for the race lead. Keselowski stayed out much longer than that for around another few laps or so, and then he came onto pit road, and then the battle was between Blaney and Bell for the race win. Those 2 had the fastest cars. Blaney was the only one that could keep up with Bell at least, but you knew Bell had the fastest car. He ate away at Blaney's lead. Blaney, he tried his best to get around lap traffic. It took him some time to get around lap traffic, but Bell was able to get around the lap traffic like nothing. So Bell had the much faster car. But when Bell caught Blaney, Blaney did an incredible job of defense driving, using that outside lane to his advantage, hold Christopher Bell at bay. I mean, there are times where Blaney just went way up the racetrack, almost to the marbles it seemed, but still was able to get that drive off the corner, keep that momentum to keep Bell at bay. But it seemed as though that no matter how hard Blaney tried, we knew at some point in time that Bell was going to pass him because he did have the fastest car. Then, with around 10 or so laps to go, we saw Bell take the lead from Blaney. And then the next lap, Blaney took the lead right back from Bell. And then Bell starts to fall back. Got on the radio, said, "It's blowing up, game over." Heart crushing to hear that on the radio because we were setting up to have a fantastic battle between the 20 and the 12 car. But Bell engine wasn't blowing up, but it was going down. He did actually get some help from Martin Truex Jr., who was, like I said, multiple laps down. He would push the 20 car on the straightaway to help him keep position. So it was a nice little teammate gesture there, but Bell was out of it. He could maybe salvage a top 10, but was out of contention for the race win. Blaney, I mean, he was, 2-3 seconds ahead of Cindric. Blaney's got this. I picked Blaney to win, so I'm thinking, I'm going to look so smart. I picked him to win. Coming to the final lap, Blaney stuttering, Cindric closes up, Blaney's out of fuel, Cindric passes by, he takes the lead at the white flag, and Cindric had enough fuel to make it to come around one more time to win for his second career Cup Series win, and what was a dramatic finish, breaks an 85 race winless streak that goes back to the 2022 Daytona 500 and becomes the 9th different winner of 2024. Most importantly though, he is in the playoffs. Blaney just crawling to the finish line to 24th place position. Absolutely gut-wrenching finish for both the 12 and the 20. as the outside pole sitter, Cindric, he was able to place himself in position, have enough fuel, and score the win. Now, what's interesting is that how did this happen? Because Logano made it, Cindric made it. Why didn't Blaney make it? Apparently, they didn't get enough fuel in it. According to Larry Mack, that the 2 car waited for a second gas tank to put fuel in the car. Blaney never did. The 12 car never had never brought in a second gas tank to put into the car. So more than likely, the 12 car just didn't get enough fuel, even though they, had the gas tank in the car for a good amount of seconds to supposedly make it to the end. They didn't have enough fuel to actually make it. They didn't get enough fuel in the car to actually make it to the start-finish line by the end of the race. So you even saw, you hear Blaney on the radio if you listen to the race. He saw, y'all ran me out of fuel? How? So it was, obviously I'm happy for Cindric, but you can't help but feel for Bell and Blaney. But man, we're going to talk about the end of that race in a little bit, but let's take a look at the race results here. So Ryan Blaney. So Austin Cindric, like I said, he wins. Second place is Denny Hamlin, a quiet run for that 11 team. Third, Brad Keselowski, another race in the top 5. That 6 car is just getting better and better. Reddick with 4th, and Logano, after a struggle season the past few weeks, top 5 finish for him. Look at this top 10. Austin Dillon, he has been having one horrific time in that 3 car the past two years. He comes home in 6th place. He used pit strategy to his advantage when they were able to get out ahead at the end of stage 1. They stayed out, was able to use that to their advantage, and able to keep that 3 car up front. Christopher Bell, even with that engine problem, was still able to salvage a 7th place run. Look at this. Carson Hocevar in 8th. Great job for that 77 team. Justin Haley in 9th. Absolutely incredible run. And Kyle Larson in 10th. Now, the reason why that is a shock to see Kyle Larson in 10th was because he was involved in an incident near the end of stage 2 between him and fellow Kyle Busch. On the back straightaway, the 2 make contact. Busch looks like he pinches Larson, comes down on him. The 2 make contact, and Busch spacks it into the wall. Larson gets loose. He spins into the wall, but Busch suffered enough damage for him to be out of the race. So a good recovery for that 5 car. And Ty Gibbs in 11th, Chastain 12th, Elliott 13th, Buescher 14th, and Byron. Another off day for that 2014 and 15th. And then 16th and 17th is Gillen and Briscoe. Hemrick, Zane Smith, top 20. Good run for him. And Ricky Stenhouse, the top 20. Bubba Wallace, a bad day for him. He had horrible strategy all over the place. Noah Gragson, Daniel Suarez, and Blaney, like I said, finishes in 24th. Michael McDowell, who, like I said, he started strong, led 41 laps, but had issues with strategy, was never able to recover. Eric Jones' teammate John Nemechek. Alex Bowman, I don't know how he got so far back in 28th place. Ryan Preece and Derek Krause, the top 30. In the final 6 positions are Harrison Byrne, Corey LaJoie, Cody Ware, who's involved in the first 2 incidents of the race, Mark Drake Jr., Kyle Busch, and Josh Berry, who had a tire go down, and he went into the wall earlier in the race. So let's take a look now at the point standings, because it has flipped with Cindric's win with 11 races to go until the playoffs. So Denny Hamlin remains as your points leader. Now Kyle Larson, he is second, 21 points behind, but because he's still awaiting a waiver from NASCAR currently at the moment, we have him not colored in green, meaning that right now he's not in the playoffs until we get word from NASCAR whether he's been granted a waiver or not. Chase Elliott jumps to 3rd. Truex goes from 2nd to 4th, minus 44. Byron and Reddick 5th and 6th. Gibbs in 7th. Bell in 8th, jumps up to the 8th position. Brad Keselowski in 9th, and Alex Bowman rounds out the top 10, tied with Ross Chastain. Ryan Blaney in 12th. Bubba Wallace 13th. And Chris Buescher holds the final playoff spot currently at the moment, just 10 points ahead of Chase Briscoe, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Austin Cindric and Daniel Suarez. Even though they're not in the top 16, with those wins, they are locked into the playoffs, 18th and 19th. And Josh Berry stays in 20th, 270 points behind Denny Hamlin. My thoughts on this race. Like I said, the first half, boring. Stage 3, I thought that was quintessential NASCAR. Great strategy, great racing, great battles, tough battles, and an awesome finish at the end. It wasn't like, I don't want to say it didn't pass the eye test. It wasn't your most eye-catching final stage, where there's like a lot of like great passing, like OMG moments, but it was a classic finish for a NASCAR race. Again, great strategy. The entire race basically had some very interesting strategy, which kept the race alive for the first half. And that final stage, we started to see some really good battles, great strategy going on. And so, yeah, if I were to give this race from scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Before the final stage, I'd give it maybe a 2 or 3, but that final stage really helped it a lot. So I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I thought that was a very solid ending to the race and a great finish to the race. Some of the drivers, I called it in the broadcast. I said this probably could be a race where we don't see Chevrolet be all that, and it's a Ford and Toyota battle, and it was. I called Blaney to win the race. I was one lap too short, but I did say that this could be a time where we see Penske shine, and they did, with Cindric getting the win. I did not have him winning, but I did have a feeling he would have a good run. Same thing with the Joe Gibbs Racing drivers, specifically Bell and Hamlin. Off day, like I said, would be for Hendrick Motorsports. It was indeed an off day for them. They didn't show really any speed. The only time really Hendrick Motorsports was in the conversation was Kyle Larson getting into Kyle Busch. So off day for all of Chevrolet, aside for Austin Dillon, which I can't believe I'm saying, and Carson Hocevar. Aside from them, wasn't really much to talk about with Chevrolet in terms of good things. But I'm interested in seeing if this will carry over maybe to the next few races like Sonoma, Iowa, Nashville, because those are completely different racetracks compared to Gateway. I don't know, maybe could this be the time we start to see maybe Ford be back, specifically with Penske, or was this maybe like a one-time thing? We'll have to wait and see. As for the broadcasts, I gotta talk about that. Fox missed, oh God, I hate them so much. First off, they missed the fire pyro, which it would have been nice to see when it happened live. They missed that. I have it written down. They also missed Josh Berry that had problems earlier in the race. I'm talking very early in the race before his tire issues went down. They also forgot Chase Elliott hitting the wall on a restart, I believe in stage 2 on the restart, and Elliott reported that he may have a toe link broken or something like that. That happened at the beginning of the stage, I think, at the beginning of the restart. Fox reported that potential Chase Elliott issues 33 laps after it happened. By that time, I don't care, because if Elliott had a toe link issue, trust me, we would have noticed a lot earlier than 33 laps. So for them to announce it at that time, it was kind of like pointless. It's like, listen, he's clearly fine. Who cares at this point in time? But, and then, there was another thing. This happened late in the race with the Blaney and Bell battle, the way those two were racing. And it seemed as though that there was one point in time where Blaney went way up the racetrack and Bell was about to take the lead. Tell me why, and I have footage of this, tell me why Fox decides to cut to both full screens of kids. Why? Fox, I don't care about kids. Post that Jordan meme. F them kids. I don't care. I don't care about the kids. I care about the racing. What is it with Fox infatuation of having cars on one screen and kids on the other? I don't understand. You want to incorporate the crowd into a race? Use the crowd audio like what NBC does. I don't want to see faces of kids on the screen when it should be, video footage of the cars on the racetrack. I'm stumbling because it's just like, the whole race, Fox was either focused on kids or horned up on women, because they kept focusing on those two the entire race for God knows why. Okay, hold on. When does NBC take over? 17 days, I think. 16 days. We got one more week, guys. Hang in there. We got Sonoma, and then we're free from Fox because, their coverage was so annoying. Even late in the race when Michael McDowell was up to 4th before we had to make a final pit stop, Clem Boyer, mentioned, look at McDowell. He's up in 4th. And they were like, well, yeah, he hasn't pitted yet. That's why he's in 4th. Fox, either they missed so much or they just weren't up to speed, and they would call it miles after it happened. Thank God, they are so frustrating. I hope when 2025 arrives, when Amazon and TNT come to NASCAR, that it forces Fox to step up. Because keep in mind, Fox has less of a load. They don't have Xfinity. They don't have practice and qualifying. All they got are, they got the trucks, but all they got are, 14 cup races? That's it. So you have less of a load, Fox, and you're canceling race hub. So you have less stuff to do, meaning that you have less stuff to worry about. So you better damn sure make sure your coverage is a lot better for 2025 next year, because their coverage has been god awful. But yeah, overall, those are my thoughts on the race. I thought stage 3 was, again, quintessential NASCAR, old school NASCAR. I loved it. Heartbreaks for the 20 and the 12. Happy for Austin Cindric. Did not have him winning, but had him having a good run, but did not have him winning. But I'm interested in seeing if this will carry over the next few races with Ford, specifically Team Penske, because Cindric is also really good at road racing. So we'll see how he does at Sonoma, or if this was maybe a one-time thing. But let me know your thoughts on this race in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you not? Until next time, my name is Jet from MDK. Thanks for watching.